Okay, let's be clear. Donald Trump didn't just fire a public servant this week, he fired the truth. And no, that's not hyperbole. When a president targets the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the agency that literally tells us how our economy is doing, because he didn't like the numbers. In this video, I'm breaking down why Trump's latest stunt isn't just anti-science, anti-fact, and anti-worker. It's a direct attack on reality itself. Let's talk about what he's really afraid of. And let's talk about why this could be the moment people finally wake up. So here's what went down. After a weak July jobs report and revisions that showed previous months had overestimated job growth, Donald Trump fired Angela McEntarfer, the commissioner of the BLS. His excuse? He says the numbers were the biggest miscalculations in 50 years, and that she was somehow part of a rigged system meant to make him look bad. The truth? That's literally how the system is designed. Every month's jobs report is a preliminary estimate. Then, as more data comes in, it gets revised. That's normal. That's transparent. That's how good data work. It corrects itself. But Trump doesn't want corrections. He wants obedience. And if the facts get in the way of his narrative, he doesn't try to fix reality. He fires the person reporting it.
President Trump's firing of the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Trump's move came on Friday, hours after a stunning government report showed hiring had slowed down significantly over the past 3 months, with the U.S. adding just 73,000 new jobs in July. Deep revisions to the previous 2 months now indicate that the job market is considerably worse than previously thought, with the U.S. only adding 19,000 jobs in May compared to an initial report of 144,000 and only 14,000 in June, after an initial report of 147,000. Trump attacked Angela McEntarfer on social media following the report, claiming the numbers are being produced by a Biden administration appointee, and ordered his administration to fire her. A career civil servant, McEntarfer was confirmed on a bipartisan basis in 2024 and had been widely respected across party lines for her nonpartisan approach. She responded to her abrupt dismissal on social media, saying it was the honor of her life to serve as BLS commissioner. Speaking to reporters yesterday, Trump continued to air his grievances and said he would announce a new statistician soon.
Let me say something that I wish more people understood. Data is democracy. When you lose trust in the numbers, in the independent institutions that track our economy, our elections, our health, you lose your ability to self-govern. And Trump knows that. That's why he spent 4 years attacking the press, the CDC, the intelligence community, and now the Labor Statistics Office. This isn't just about one bureaucrat getting fired. This is about soft authoritarianism. Because if Trump wins and every data agency knows they'll be fired for speaking truth, then we're not getting real data. We're getting propaganda. That's the end of accountability. That's the end of oversight. That's how democracies rot from the inside. Don't just take my word for it.
Now by former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. Larry, thank you for joining us this morning. I guess this firing of the BLS commissioner goes in the category of shocking but not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, this is way beyond anything that Richard Nixon ever did. I'm surprised that other officials have not responded by resigning themselves, as took place when Richard Nixon fired people lawlessly. This is a preposterous charge. These numbers are put together by teams of literally hundreds of people following detailed procedures that are in manuals. There's no conceivable way that the head of the BLS could have manipulated this number. The numbers are in line with what we're seeing from all kinds of private sector sources. This is the stuff of democracies giving way to authoritarianism. Firing statisticians goes with threatening the heads of newspapers. It goes with launching assaults on universities. It goes with launching assaults on law firms that defend clients that the elected boss finds uncongenial. This is really scary.
Summers made it crystal clear there is no conceivable way the BLS commissioner, Dr. Angela McEntarfer, could have manipulated the job numbers. Why? Because these reports aren't cooked up in some back room. They're built by hundreds of career economists and analysts, following decades-old procedures and detailed statistical models. They're peer-reviewed, audited, and refined, not something you can rig because the president's feelings are hurt. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. Summers said this move fits a growing pattern. Trump doesn't just attack the media, now he's coming after data, after facts, and he's targeting the very people whose job is to tell the truth, whether it's convenient or not. Think about what this means. If the numbers don't fit his narrative, he just labels them fake or fires the person responsible. That's not leadership, that's not transparency, that's authoritarian behavior. And let's not pretend this is about some shady backroom scheme. These BLS job reports get revised all the time. It's standard practice. In fact, under Trump's own presidency, there were massive corrections, and no one was fired over it then. This is selective outrage, purely political. Summers even said this goes beyond Nixon. And remember, Nixon tried to bully the Bureau of Labor Statistics too, but he didn't fire the commissioner over a headline. So what's the endgame here? Trump's not trying to fix the numbers. He's trying to control the narrative. He's laying the groundwork so that if the economy doesn't look great in the coming months, he can say it's all fake, all manipulated, all deep state, and that's extremely dangerous. Larry Summers is right to sound the alarm.
A new statistician sometime over the next 3-4 days. We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous, what she announced, but that was just one negative number. All of the numbers seem to be great, and so we'll see how that comes out. And if you remember, just before the election, this woman came out with these phenomenal numbers on Biden's economy. Phenomenal numbers. And then right after the election, they announced that those numbers were wrong. And that's what they did the other day. So it's a scam, in my opinion.
You know, actually, Mika, less is more on this issue, because the more he talks about it, the more he just proves how wrong it was to fire this woman.
Think about that. Trump's ego is now an economic threat. What's wild is how predictable this is. Trump didn't like the jobs report. Suddenly the data's fake. Trump didn't like the election results. Suddenly the election was rigged. This guy can't lose gracefully because in his world, losing means lying. And here's the kicker. The July report actually could have helped him. It showed weaker job growth and something he could have used to argue against the Fed raising interest rates. But instead of taking the win, he fired the messenger. That's how deep his paranoia goes. Now, some people are saying, now who cares? She was just a stats nerd. But think about what this says. If Trump gets back in power, and he is leading in some polls, every number you hear will be filtered through fear. Inflation, jobs, unemployment, the census. Do you really want that data coming from someone who's scared of losing their job for being honest? This is about whether truth has a place in American politics anymore. And if we don't stand up now, if we don't call this what it is, then one day we're going to wake up and realize the numbers don't mean anything anymore. And when that happens, neither will your vote. Thanks for watching. If you found this important, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe. We need more people paying attention, especially now.